let's get started. So Maureen, that's 6:32, I think.
Thank you. That was last meeting, that too.
I try to only wait a couple minutes and then get it started if we have a quorum. So, okay. So on tonight's agenda, we're going to go over the meeting minutes for September 9th, go over the monthly vouchers and financial report. Matthew will give us his director's report. And I just noted the next meeting. So we're meeting in 5 or 6 weeks now because Veterans Day would be our next meeting. So the actual meeting is going to be on November 18th.
Okay.
Any questions? Anything
Nope.
you want to add or? Okay. All right. So we will approve the agenda by a consensus, Maureen.
Okay, thank you.
That's what she does for us. So we don't have to vote on generally a pretty straightforward agenda. Okay. The minutes. I know Charlotte is not here, but does anybody have any questions for Charlotte? If not, we can.
I have a
can
minor
vote.
thing I noticed simply because I was copying and pasting. On her, nope, I take it back. No, that's mine. On her meetings minutes,
Mhm.
and this is, I said, minor. Hers, if you look at numbering, it goes from 5 to 7. It
Oh,
goes
yeah.
from director's report to next meeting.
Oh, yeah. Staff update.
Are we
Compensation
missing
plan,
something, or it's
and
just a misnumbering?
it looks like it is.
Just a misnumbering.
I think so. I don't think
Okay.
anything's missing. Financial report. Yeah, I don't see anything missing. Matthew, do you see anything? Did you see anything missing? If you do most of the meeting, it looks okay to me. We'll just, I'll just tell her to renumber the bullets. Okay, someone might want to make a motion on the minutes.
I
Judith.
approve that we.
I
Judith?
move that we approve the minutes as corrected.
Okay.
I second.
Who is
Okay.
that, may I ask?
Alicia?
Judith.
Alicia.
Yep, sorry.
Thank you.
I'll try to identify.
Thank you, Deb.
Okay. Any more discussion on the minutes? Okay,
Pam said she might not be joining us.
okay. Okay, well, luckily we have enough folks, so we should be okay. All right, on the minutes, Joe,
Aye.
Alicia,
Aye.
Judith,
Aye.
Lori, oh, not Lori, Maureen,
Aye.
and Lauren.
Aye.
Okay. The monthly vouchers. So Matthew sent an updated voucher this afternoon. I'm not sure if anybody saw it, didn't see it. Maybe Matthew, you could explain the updated voucher.
Yeah, so I had instead of an invoice, I had an order confirmation for Amazon that I wanted on this meeting so it could get paid. And when I got the actual invoice today, there was one item that hadn't shipped. So it was a difference of $21.15. So I just took that off of the voucher and I put in the actual invoice number. So that's the only difference. I just want to make sure that we are voting on the updated voucher.
Okay. All right. Does anybody have any questions for Matthew on the vouchers?
Matthew said it was $21 and how many cents? I'm sorry.
15 cents, $21.15.
Thank you.
It's a pair of scissors.
And can I ask you what's Newsbank?
Newsbank is actually the only digital database we pay for individually, and It's actually a very cool resource that I wish got used more. It's an online searchable database of newspapers from across the country. Um, it includes the Boston Herald, and
Really?
it's now actually our only source for the Worcester Telegram and Gazette because we dropped the print version. But it includes the full text, full image version of Worcester Telegram and Gazette, and it actually has like current events features and popular topics. So it's very neat, and it's basically we have it so we can provide news articles to people. If someone comes in and says, "Hey, you only subscribe to 2 newspapers, how can I get more information?" That's what we have as a database.
So we have to come into the library to see a Boston Herald article or Telegram article?
No, you can use that
No.
from home.
We should I was gonna say we should consider offering or like showing that on our social media so more people know
Yeah.
about it.
Good
Yeah,
point.
definitely. I didn't know about it. So we can get there from the homepage?
Yeah, it's on the library homepage. If you go
Okay.
to digital resources and you log in with your library card, you can access it from anywhere. Unlimited users, unlimited articles. Yeah, it's a nice resource. I think a few people have used it for, looking for obituaries and that kind of thing.
Okay. Great. Any
That
more
would be good
questions
for
on the
house
vouchers?
sales. You know what?
Yeah, yeah. Good point. Any other questions for Matthew on the vouchers? If not, does someone want to make a motion on the vouchers?
I motion that we approve the vouchers.
I have a second.
I
Judith?
second.
Lauren seconds.
So Alicia and then Judith.
Okay,
Maureen.
thank you.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Lauren.
Aye.
Maureen.
Aye.
Judith.
Aye.
Alicia.
Aye.
Joe.
Aye.
And I am an aye as well. All right. The financial report.
Yeah, so I sent the report out. I'm happy with where we are for the year so far. Library materials is going well. All of our kind of supplies and materials processing line items, I'm so happy we got those increased. We still have plenty of funds left in those, and after the last couple of years of having to try to skimp on those and second guess purchases, it's nice to be able to just order some of the processing supplies as needed. Programming budget is still healthy. That's sort of all allocated between Leanne and Michaela. We have a plan for where that money's going. Passport revenue, you can see, is $3,000 already for the year, so we're averaging a little more than $1,000 a month, which is good. Keeping my eye on the postage line item because that's the one that might run out, and then we'll have to scramble for something at the end of the fiscal year. Any questions on the financial report?
Okay. We're speeding right through everything. Someone will make a motion on the financials.
Judith, I
Judith?
move that we approve the financials as given.
Do I have a second?
Lauren seconds.
Okay. So we've got Judith and Lauren. Maureen.
Thank you.
Yep. Any other discussion on it? Okay. Joe.
Aye.
Alicia.
Aye.
Judith.
Aye.
Maureen.
Aye.
And Lauren.
Aye.
Okay. All right, director's report.
All right, I'll go through some of the statistics quickly. Circulation is down from last month. That's typical. August is usually our peak, and then September, October, November go down. Usually November is like the low point, and then it picks back up in December. But we're still running 5% over last year, which is good because that is that's since we've been in the community center. You know, that's not the jump from moving into the community center. That's a year-over-year increase. Some of our digital resources, we set a new record for e-audiobooks on Overdrive. I think that's sort of just coincidence. Hoopla, we set a new record for, so that's seeing steadily more use. And I put two new numbers in the last column, the September 2024 column for Overdrive. Those two numbers in parentheses, those are these circulations for the items that Michaela has bought just for Upton Library. So, you know, we've been spending some money on buying extra copies of ebooks and e-audio from our budget to supplement CW Mars. So we got 110 circulations just on the things that she purchased. So that it's definitely making a difference because those are all going right to Upton people that have holds on them.
Great.
Let's see. Was there a question on that stuff?
Yes, I was wondering, and I know it's been there, but what are unique patrons?
Yeah, so that's a report I run. I think it may have been Fran Gussman, who was a previous trustee, who asked for that information. So that is in the last month, how many individual people have items checked out. So we report like our visitor count, but you know, a monthly visitor count could be the same person coming every week. So it's sort of a snapshot of as of the day that I wrote this report, then going back a month, how many unique different patrons had items out, and then how many items did they have? So, you know, circulation of 4,600, that's how many things went out. You know, maybe they came back. But the unique items is right now, that's how many unique patrons have items out. And that's pretty good. I mean, 600.
Thank you.
You look at, you know, that's,
Yeah.
You know, almost 10% of the population of Upton has
Right.
something checked out. So it's kind of neat.
And that
and-
includes the online, like the people.
No, actually, that is only physical checked out items.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so if someone only uses Libby, they won't show up in that number. Because I just run a report that says of all our items that are checked out, you know, who has them checked out, and then I filter for the unique patrons. So that doesn't include, you know, people that come in the library for story time but don't check anything out, or people that use the meeting rooms, that sort of thing.
And Matthew, is that Upton people, or like if somebody came in from Milford, is that part of the count?
That is not limited by town. So that is anyone that has an Upton item checked out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so let's see. New
patrons.
items,
That's good.
passports. Yeah, so that the reason that number is so high is because of first grade field trips. So we had 2 classes come in September. We have 2 more classes in October. So that's
Good.
why September and October we always have lots of new patrons because the first graders get their library cards.
Those library cards.
So library visits were a little down, not surprising. August was a really high month, so you know that was not unexpected. The story times I highlighted because September's are the first month that we've done 8 story times per month instead of 4. And it's been working really well so far. Leanne did some work, you know, getting people to change their their registrations. So we've got pretty much even numbers between the two sessions. And right now we're at a point where neither session is completely full. So it's nice, when a new person comes in and says, hey, what about story time? We can say, hey, sign up right now instead of saying go on a waiting list. We expect in a month or two, we'll be back to the registrations being full. But right now it's a nice even split. We're seeing, 10, 11, 12 at each session instead of before we only had one session and we'd get, 14, 15 people. Yeah, so that's working well. People seem to appreciate it. We're definitely going to hit a point where we're all booked out again, but at least now we're seeing twice as many families per week.
Nice.
Let's see. Not much change in other things. Teen groups are, the book clubs are doing okay. The teen hangout has just started to get off the ground. Adult programs are a little hit and miss. I'm just looking at what else we did.
Teen Hangout's huge though, because we had 0 so many times in a row.
Yeah, so actually what happened with Teen Hangout is it's been 0 for most sessions. Michaela sets it up and, just waits and no one comes. But we had one session where we actually, a homeschooling group kind of showed up en masse to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
So that was really nice because we got some attendance there. And they're going to be meeting weekly in the library, so they might stay and do Teen Hangout afterwards. But we definitely are trying to get that program off the ground a little bit more. I mean, we're committed to hosting it for probably at least this school year and see what happens. I've gotten some suggestions that serving food is the way to get teens to show up. So we might try to do like pizza once a month, and that would get people at least to come and see what we have, and then maybe they'll come on the other weeks as well.
Great idea.
But we're trying because it feels like it should be a good use of the library, but so far not a lot of actual attendance at that.
What's the number about the great room? It says 79. Is that events or people?
Yeah, that doesn't seem right. Oh, you know what that is? So that should just be 9 because it was 7 last month, and I forgot.
Okay.
I must have not deleted the 7 when I put the 9 in.
Yeah, it
So
seems like a lot.
Yeah. There were 9 reservations, outside groups using the great room in September, not 79. That would be a little bonkers.
And that's in addition to the senior center and library programs, right?
Correct. That is outside groups reserving the space. That doesn't count library programs. It doesn't count senior center programs. Doesn't count the RecCom yoga programs. That's purely outside groups, mostly Girl Scouts at this point, but there's occasional other groups that use that.
Sorry. Turn off my mic.
Maureen, Lori joined the room. I don't know if you noticed, but
Yes, thank you.
okay.
So upcoming events, we've got some stuff coming up, a lot of pumpkin themed crafts for various age groups. And if you're talking to anyone around town, this Putin's War lecture on October 23rd should be really good. This is a Ukrainian historian who is now living in Massachusetts and is talking about sort of the background and the history and why we've gotten to the point where we are. And he's done this program in a number of other libraries, and it's been very well reviewed. So you should see the social media posts starting to go out about that, but we'd really like to get some attendance, and I think it'll be a very interesting lecture if you want to mention that to people who might be interested in the topic.
Great.
Maybe get it on Upton Moms and things like that, other groups besides the library.
high school.
one. Yeah, it's a great idea.
The history teachers at the high school.
Yeah, we can send it to them. For social media, we only post on the library's page, and then we rely on other people sharing it. We don't like to post directly to private groups. But yeah, so when the social media, Lauren will do the social media posts on the library's Facebook, and then hopefully someone shares them onto, Upton Moms. And Lauren might do that actually. She usually takes the things that are big events and cross posts them on her personal account.
And we all can too, yeah.
Yep.
Let's see. We've got the display case and the picture hanging rail has gotten booked out for the next couple months, so that's nice to see stuff up there. The stamp collection just got put up today, and it looks like really, really good.
Is Lego and the other ones continuing?
Yes.
Lego Club and all those? Okay, great.
Yep, Lego and D&D. I'm doing those on Wednesdays. The 2 book groups are still going on. Yeah, we don't really change anything based on the school year. We kind of do our stuff year round.
I saw the, yeah, restriping the handicap spaces is great.
Yeah, so to get into the updates, yeah, the parking lot got restriped. I thought it looked really, really good. And then, Dennis Westgate, the DPW director, came down and said, oh, they did a terrible, sloppy job. So he wasn't super happy with it, but I think it looks pretty good. It makes sense, the one way in, one way out. And there's still some signs to be put up. They have to put some one-way signs and a couple more handicap parking signs to finish that project off. Passport photos, we started officially October 1st. So I don't think Michaela's done any, but I've done 4 or 5 of them. It seems to be going well. We've got the technology working pretty well. We did realize we're going to have to buy a dedicated tablet because we were using the shared one that we have for the library, which is also what Leanne uses for story times. So if someone needed a picture during a story time, I had to use my own phone because the library tablet was in use. So I'll buy. It doesn't have to be super high end. It just can be a mid-range iPad that I'll buy that at some point in the next couple months.
Black Friday deals coming out.
Oh, yeah,
Good point.
that's a good thought. Maybe through Amazon I can do that. Last time we ordered that, we went directly to Apple through the school purchased it. They get like a small educational discount, but that's a good thought. So we're going to start advertising. So you should see some advertising coming out about the passport.
Already came out.
Good.
There were a couple postings today I shared. So.
Good. Yeah, the important thing we're trying to emphasize there is we're only doing them as part of a passport appointment. We don't want people just dropping in and saying, do my photos and for, your visa or your work badge or whatever else you need a photo for. We're because only Michaela and I are doing it, we want it to be part of an appointment and not just a drop-in thing. All right, and then I guess let me do story times first because they're quick, and then classification plan can be kind of our bigger topic. Michelle Kick, our children's specialist, as I said, she started the second sessions. It's been going pretty well. Attendance has been pretty evenly split. Basically all the stuff I said during programs that right now we have open spots, but we expect at some point we're going to be back to completely full. But at least we have twice as many sessions. And Michelle, I think this is maybe either this week or last week, she started doing them solo. So both basically she and Leanne can do those interchangeably. So if someone has to be out or someone's doing another program, the other person can just step in and take over, which
So
is
what's
good.
the scheduling, Matthew? When are the story times now? Because we've added some, right?
Yeah, so now it's still preschoolers on Thursdays and babies on Fridays, but now
At
we
9:30.
have a 9:30 to 10:30 session, and we have a 10:30 to 11. Well, it's really like 10:15. So 9:30 to 10:15 is session 1, and then 10:30 to 11:15 is session 2.
And these have crafts with them?
Yes.
And then,
The-
and they're out in time for this new group to come in.
Yeah, yep.
Well done.
Yeah.
It's like a school. Yeah.
Yeah, Leanne and Michelle, they have it planned out, they have it on the, PowerPoint slides, and they know how much time every song takes, and they go
Wow.
right through them. And sometimes the crafts, if they're a little complicated, the preschoolers crafts are a little more involved. Sometimes they'll have to say, okay, if you want to continue working on your craft, go either take it home or take it out into the library children's area so the next group can come in. But they've got it. It's pretty smooth. It's been working well.
Great.
And we're still doing the drop-in Mondays once a month, and we're still doing the Saturday story times once a month. So we've really got, almost 20 story time sessions a month now.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah. All right. Classification plan. So pretty much all summed up in the report and what Debbie sent out. We went in front of the Board of Selectmen and we presented our recommendations and presented the reasons why, and they listened and then voted to not implement any of them. So the selectmen unanimously voted to use the plan recommended by the HR director, which really the only difference we asked for is we wanted some bigger step increases for existing employees. So they were a little higher off the floor of their grade range. So that plan will now go to town meeting for funding on the September or the November 12th town meeting. And if it gets voted there, then it'll be implemented. And I think my personal recommendation at this point is that we not make any statements at town meeting floor. I feel like that's just, it's very confusing. Even when I've got the spreadsheet in front of me and I'm looking at all the grade ranges and, there's steps and there's grades and there's years of longevity. It's pretty confusing. I think it would be hard to explain to the average town meeting attendee what it is we're actually asking for and why we're asking for it.
Right.
So I think the best course is to just, I definitely vote in favor of it at town meeting because it does, include the
Yeah.
wage adjustments. And then when it comes to be budget time in December, January, and we're looking at FY26, I think that is our chance to do some merit-based and longevity-based step increases, within the new plan. Typically, the personnel board expects to see 1-step increases. And I think we may be asking for a number of 2 steps and possibly in one case a 3-step increase. And it can't hurt to ask. And if they, if the person, basically it would be the personnel board who would get the first look at those, and they'll say, what's your justification for this? And then we can talk about merit and longevity and internal equity and stuff like that. So I think that's where we should go.
The town manager at the meeting did mention making some effort to find ways to reward longevity. It was very general. I'm not quite sure what they'll do with it, if anything. But he did mention that there may be some other things that they can do in the area of benefits or something else to reward longevity. So I don't know where that will go, if anywhere.
He also mentioned, I listened to that part of the meeting, and he also mentioned being aware that we've lost people and that we don't want to continue to lose people. And he mentioned something about maybe benefits and longevity that maybe,
Right.
but
Yeah.
more, I don't know what they can do. And I don't know how, if we're talking about FY26, we're talking about, this doesn't kick it until July. So it's nearly a year away. And of course, we have wonderful people we want to try to keep, so.
Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
very general, so we don't know, who's
My,
gonna put their
Is
feet in
there
the
a
fire.
formula where they talk about the impact, how much, how many people you interact with, how many people you supervise? I don't know how they decide what people's value is.
Yeah.
So the grade range, which is where your position is classified, that does follow a rubric where, yes, you get, so many points for supervising, you get so many points for independent judgment, so many points for, nature of the work and training and that sort of thing. So the grade is kind of set fairly objectively. It's the step within the grade. So that's, there's 14 steps within your grade, and that's where it gets a little more subjective, because is that based on merit? Is that based on longevity? There's no, in a lot of, I know a lot of you work in like education, and you might have metrics where it's like, okay, I've gotten my master's degree, that gives me an automatic one-step increase or
Name
something.
change, yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing like that. And it's not even like, okay, you've been here 10 years, you should be at step 5 or whatever. It's basically just whatever your supervisor recommends for you as a step increase.
Wow.
And what I've noticed, we talked about retention and benefits, and what I kind of noticed over the past 2 years is that the town has gotten much more generous with new hires. Prior to that, basically everyone started at step 1 and there was not a lot of flexibility. And now we've seen people starting at, much higher steps. There was even a comment at the meeting that they were giving some new hires extra vacation time, which kind of blew me away, because that the amount of vacation time is specified in the personnel procedures handbook, and I thought that was written in stone and couldn't be adjusted. So that comment raised my eyebrows a little bit. So what I've seen is that new hires are getting some exceptions, but we haven't really seen anything for existing employees.
Do they ever get a one-time pay increase for longevity?
They do. So there is a longevity pay. I'm the only person on the library staff that's eligible for it, because it starts at 10 years of service and it's $500 a year.
Yeah.
So it's
But
not.
Leanne's been 11 years, I thought.
So this is another sort of bone I have to pick, which is, for all of those things, the HR department has decided her longevity only started from when she became benefited. So her years of service as a library assistant don't count towards that.
Wow.
Yeah. They did do like a lump sum payment for COVID benefit pay, which was for those of us that worked through. They had a date range. It was like, March of 2020 to December of 21. They used some of the federal funds to give employees that, and that was pretty significant. I think that was like on the order of $6,000 to full-time employees and $3,000 to part-time employees. So that was nice, but a one-time bonus, not always, people like to see their hourly rate. That's what they pretty much focus on, is what's my hourly rate. So I think the best thing we can do for existing employees is work on these merit based step increases and, advocate for our employees at budget time and be a little more aggressive with the step increases, because it seems like some departments have gotten people much higher on the step range than we have.
Do you think you're gonna lose anyone?
No. I think we have people who are staying for reasons other than salary, right? We've got a
Okay,
couple people that could make significantly more money if they wanted to go, to a town that was 15, 20 miles away, but they're staying because either they like the commute or they like the hours or they like the environment or they're happy with the new building, that sort of thing.
Good.
But I do know that people are offered jobs and do have considered them.
Okay. It is what it is.
Yeah, I guess that's about all there is to say on that. And our next opportunity will be, when we do the budget for next year and try to do some step increases that maybe are different than what the personnel board recommends, but we'll make our request and see what happens.
And you'll make that proposal to us to
Yes.
begin
So
with. I mean, yeah.
yeah, it's a little awkward because we do our staff evaluations in May and June, and we have to do our budget requests in December, January. So, yeah, when we get there, I know which positions I feel like need an adjustment, and I'll make a recommendation to the trustees, and then it'll all have to be like contingent on, a satisfactory or exemplary evaluation. But since I write the evaluations, I can be pretty confident that they'll be, positive.
Everybody's great that we have. We've hired great people.
Matthew, I'm probably getting ahead of myself or ahead of ourselves on this issue, but I mean, it sounds like you probably have one or two individuals that, deserve more money. Would this be the year where we go kind of crazy instead of saying a 1%, like a one time, you do 3 or 4, and then hopefully maybe the HR comes back and says, well, you're being ridiculous and cut the difference? I mean, does it seem like any hope that way where, I'm just afraid, we'll give you one, an extra point or an extra level, but it sounds like we're probably beyond just the normal yearly increase.
Yeah, I think so. The expectations seem to change sometimes. Like for a while they said, well, you shouldn't give everyone a step increase every year. Now it kind of sounds like the culture is, if you get a good employee review, you should expect a 1-step increase. So there's the COLA that everyone gets, and then most employees should expect a 1-step merit increase. And I think what I'll probably recommend is a number of 2-step increases. We'll probably have 4 employees that I recommend for a 2-step increase and 1 employee that I recommend for a 3-step increase. And I think that 3-step increase will probably raise some eyebrows in the HR department and the personnel board. I think a 2-step, you can say, well, this is merit based and we're rewarding them for their exemplary performance. The 3-step is the one we might get called in to talk to them about. But I think it's worth it. I think this is a good year to do it. Probably our other budget line items, we won't need big increases, because we increased a lot of those miscellaneous items last year. And the classification and compensation stuff will be funded in this year's budget. So it won't look like a, huge increase, because that'll already be baked in.
Okay. Anything else on your director's report?
No, that was it. I mean, the library functioned really smoothly for the 2 weeks I was gone, and I don't know if I told that to all the trustees, but at least a couple of you individually, I said I'm so happy that now I feel like this is the first time I've had a team that I'm like totally confident that I can be out of communication for 2 weeks and everything will still get done. And Michaela handled payroll and passports, and Leanne kept all the programs going, and all of our library assistants are doing a great job.
Can I ask two things from the director's report, and I don't know if I missed them, but website updates and library things. Did you talk about those yet?
No.
You have it under plans for next month. That's what you're thinking about doing next month?
Yes. So I actually took a few trainings, and there are a few webinars that the was it MLS that did them, or it might have been Perkins School. But there were a few seminars on specifically making websites and documents more accessible to people with various, people using screen readers or adaptive fonts and that sort of thing. So I've got a list of things I want to check on our website to update. And I think I'll have time for that next month. And then Michaela is still getting Library of Things assembled. We have started ordering more of them. So she's got more of them are actually in and in her office. And she's just got to get them processed and available for the public to borrow. So that's what I'm going to focus on website stuff next month. And Michaela's going to focus on Library of Things. And hopefully we'll get those two projects moving forward.
Yeah, we're going to have any kind of special roll of that. When I mention it to people, they're very excited. Oh, I've heard that at other libraries. We're going to have it. I think it's going to be quite a bit of interest.
Yeah, I think probably Michaela and I are leaning towards doing kind of like a soft rollout where, instead of waiting till we have everything and doing a big splash, we'll kind of put them out as they're ready. But definitely PR wise, once we have 5-6 things that are ready to circulate, then we'll, have Lauren put it on the social media. And I think we're going to do a whole separate tab on the website just for Library of Things so people can see what we have.
That's good. And I want to go back and look at the list. I know you gave it to us not long ago of exactly what we were planning to have. And so that'll be nice to be able to, people will then start to ask us about it. And so it'll be good for us to be able to say, this is coming, this is coming, this is coming. And you talked about a book at one point. I don't know if you've nailed that down as the way you want to go about it, or if there's shelf space somewhere.
Yeah, so we're thinking most of these things either won't display nicely or we don't have room to display them. So probably out on the actual library stacks, it'll be like a binder on a shelf that's and it has pictures and descriptions of all the items. And then the actual items will be in the behind the circulation desk. So you'll come up and say, I want to check this thing out. We went back and forth because it is like seeing the physical thing on a shelf is like really eye-catching, and you're like, oh, that's neat. Tell me about that. But then if it's checked out, then you just have an empty shelf.
Could we ever use that display case in the front where the displays are just at some point to do Library of Things, and it would change as they went out and came in when we have everything pretty much?
Yeah, we could do that for a month and feature them out there.
Or some places I know they'll make like a visual of the cards and make a display with those or something somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, we're hoping
possibilities are endless.
We're hoping the actual items will be out most of the time. So we're planning on using pictures and representations as our advertising instead of the actual item itself.
Matthew, I'm not.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no. Okay, sorry. You go.
Oh, on your social media, maybe we can be like, did you know that the library has, and then like feature something like once a week, and then be like, or do you know the library does this? 'Cause I
Yeah,
feel
and
like
then people will,
like, yeah, it might be like eye catching for them.
and
Besides,
they'll
Yeah.
look for the next
posting-
thing if it's
yeah.
a periodic. Yeah.
because we just post like events usually.
Yeah, because this will be neat and different, and hopefully we'll get some people interested that don't, think, oh, there's nothing at the library for me, but because we're getting, I mean, it's the sort of the medical, the home testing, the air quality monitors and the EMF field detectors, and I think a couple other sort of things you can test around your home with, and then also some like kind of sports equipment,
Did I
simple
remember getting
small stuff.
crochet stuff or knitting things too? Was there, I think, some of that?
Yeah, a few crafting things like that. We're trying to, a lot of libraries do like cooking, like baking cake pans and stuff. We're trying to stay away from that. We're trying to find a niche that's a little bit different. So I know the list. I'll have to get an updated list from Michaela because I know it's changed quite a bit from the initial. The only stuff that's really been consistent is that focus on home safety and not really not medical devices like you treat yourself with, but detectors and measurements that you can do around your house to sort of get an idea of hey, is there something in my house that might be making me ill or something like that.
Right, they're saying there's way more radon they're finding in places. That's the type of thing that we started. We thought we'll do a little health and wellness kind of thing for our environment and our homes, and then branch out a little bit. But, we'll see what people are interested in too. And thank you for doing all this. This is great.
Can you give
Matthew,
the
I was just gonna,
updated list to us next month? Sorry, Joe.
oh yeah, no,
Can you, Matthew, can you give us the updated list next month?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Sorry, Joe.
oh yeah, no, I was just gonna say, I don't know if anybody can add more to this, but I just looked up Prime Big Deal Days in October 8th and 9th. The next couple of days. I
Yes.
don't know if that's better than Black Friday or what that means, but if it does help you, it seems like there's some kind of sale going on there.
Okay. Is that it, Matthew?
Yeah, I think we're focused on trying to get attendance up on adult programs and the teen hangouts, and that's sort of you'll see some more PR coming out for that because those are the things we think are being underused.
And the adult programs on this list would be Putin's War. And what else would you want us to be advertising or talking about?
The book groups could use a little more attendance.
Right.
The Fic or No Fic book group is getting pretty slim. The Upton Reads book group, so the adult book groups, the drop-in game, the game nights, those actually have been doing pretty well. They've been picking up a little bit. Tabletop game night had 4 this month. I think it had 6 last month.
Mhm.
And then yeah, definitely the Putin's War, because that's our paid outside presenter that's coming in for this month is the Putin's War.
And the
Math-
tabletop game night is the 3rd Thursday of the month. Is that right?
I have to check the calendar, but that sounds right. Yeah.
Okay.
Matthew, do you tie in with the senior center for the book clubs and the like the Putin's War? 'Cause I would think there'd be a
Somewhat.
lot of people.
Yeah, I mean we cross advertise. It's not really like a collaboration in the sense that we're doing it together. We just sort of cross advertise, and we'll put a flyer down that end on their bulletin board and things.
Mhm. Next month, Matthew, can you, in your director's report, can you include sort of a progress based on the goals that we set in your review, so we can see where you sit?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yep.
It's been like, I don't know, 3 or 4 months, so I thought maybe it might be a good mile marker to see how it's going.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Does anybody have anything that they want to add that is not on the agenda? Okay. It is 7:21, Maureen. It looks like we're done. You got
Do
an
we
easy
have-
meeting.
Deb, do
Wow.
we have to do a vote for monthly vouchers and monthly financial report and director's report?
Not the director's report, but we did the vouchers and the financials.
Yep, I got those written down, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think that's it. We don't vote on the director's report. It's just the report.
Yeah.
So I think those are the only three things: the minutes, the vouchers, and the financials.
This
Okay.
meeting was so fast that my online calendar didn't already, it usually fades it away when the time is over, but it's not even 7:30 yet. You put it in for an hour, it's not been 7:30.
All right. If
7:22,
there's
did you
nothing
say?
else, we will adjourn 7:22, Maureen, and we'll see
Yep.
everybody on November 18th.